Random House Audio presents The Big Bam, The Life and Times of Babe Ruth by Leigh Montville. Read for you by Adam Grupper. Introduction. The grand year for researching Babe Ruth biographies was 1973. 5 writers traveled around the country, stopping at retirement homes and suburban neighborhoods to talk to the last old men who remembered their time as teammates or friends of the greatest baseball player who ever lived. Reminiscences of long-ago hijinks and debaucheries were jotted into notebooks, impressions captured on tape recorders before the stories and the storytellers left the flat face of the earth. The timing was important. Henry Aaron of the Atlanta Braves was on schedule to break the Babe's biggest record of all, 714 career home runs in the first months of the 1974 season. The excitement of that moment would also turn the focus to the past, making not only the followers of baseball but the general public remember the outrageous character who had set the record in the first place. The Babe had been dead for 25 years, hadn't swung a bat in almost 40. The previous biographies, including 2 ghost-written autobiographies, had woven fable and half-truths around the no-nonsense statistics of the box scores and record books. The feeling was that the real story finally should be told. The strongest figure in the field, beginning to end, was Robert Creamer, author of Babe, The Legend Comes to Life. He had started first, 7 or 8 years before everyone else, and carried the most clout. He was a senior editor at Sports Illustrated, a tall and erudite man in his early 50s, who already had written as-told-to books on New York Yankees star Mickey Mantle, broadcaster Red Barber, and umpire Jocko Conlon. His pace had been relaxed, the project added to his weekly chores at SI. The approach of Aaron toward the record and the rumors of other Ruth books brought a call from the publisher. The relaxed pace was finished. My editor Peter Schwed asked me how I was doing, and I told him I already had 70,000 words written, long enough to be a book, Creamer says. I also told him that at the end of the 70,000 words, the Babe was 19 years old and just starting to play for the Red Sox. Peter told me to get moving. 4 of the books appeared in the immediate glow of Aaron's achievement on April 8, 1974, his 715th career home run off Al Downing at Atlanta's Fulton County Coliseum. Creamer's 443-page effort was the acknowledged winner. Its publication was preceded by a 3-part series of excerpts in SI, and the magazine's reviewer called it the best biography ever written about an American sports figure. More than 30 years have passed since this biographical rush in 1974. The images of Aaron breaking the record now seem dated. The uniforms just not right. The hairstyles odd. The film of the moment grainy and amateurish when played on a high-definition screen. Aaron's feat has been assimilated into the history of the game with the same quiet grace with which it was accomplished. The Babe remains remarkably vibrant. He probably is even more popular now than he was when the books were published. The long ball approach to baseball that he single-handedly brought to the sport now dominates it. The parks are built for home runs. The players are built for home runs. A cavalcade of home runs is shown every night on ESPN SportsCenter and Baseball Tonight. Baseballs hitting off foul poles and facades, landing in the Pacific Ocean, dropping into packed crowds of spectators who spill their $7 beers and lose their designer team caps in happy pursuit. Threaded through all of this, however, are the drumbeat questions about steroids, about what is real and what isn't, about cheating. The biggest names, the record breakers like Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa and Barry Bonds, are surrounded by suspicion. Were their feats concocted in laboratories as much as performed on the diamond? Who took what and when? The complications of it all make a look back at Babe Ruth ever more inviting. Steroids hadn't been invented when he did what he did. Beer and scotch and hot dogs were his nutritional supplements of choice. He is seen as a big and natural man who did big things that are part of our culture now, each passing year oddly making their distant glow a little brighter. This audiobook is an attempt to tell the story again for the SportsCenter generation. to bring back the supposed-to-be uncomplicated in the time of the complicated. The approach is not so much to tear down the myths that grew around George Herman Ruth, as to explain how and why they developed in the time in which he lived. Why did an entire country fall in love, go gaga over him? Why was this one man so good, so much better than his contemporaries? That is a question accusingly asked in our time of steroids, and it can be asked about the Babe, too. The answers are surprising, and attack the well-constructed image of him as the totally self-indulgent fatso. Another wonderful book, No Cheering in the Press Box, by Jerome Holtzman, also appeared in 1974. It is a collection of oral history interviews of sportswriters from the 20s and 30s, men who dealt often with Ruth. Holtzman, an authority on baseball literature, says that 27 books have been written on Ruth, the most for anyone who played the game. In addition, numerous scholarly papers and articles have been written about the Babe, especially by members of SABR, the Society for American Baseball Research. A symposium on his life and career was held at Hofstra University in 1995 on the 100th anniversary of his birth. It is from atop this mountain of information, plus interviews, side trips, phone calls, Google-found websites, and the requisite ancient newspaper stories, that the typing begins again on a computer keyboard. The job is an honor. Babe Ruth's story belongs to all of us. The little boy and the man get on the Wilkins Avenue trolley on the morning of June 13th, 1902. It is a Friday. They are off on a trip of great dimensions. Details are important, but do not seem to be available. There is so much we want to know. There is so much we never will. Is it really the morning? Or maybe the early afternoon? Probably not the night. The man and the boy take seats in the second row. Or maybe they are all the way in the back. The boy is on the outside, so he can see the streets of Baltimore pass. Or maybe he is on the inside. Maybe he is looking at his shoes. The man is sad, or resolute, or perhaps secretly happy. The boy is... Does he even know where he is going? Is the packed little suitcase on the seat next to him a clue? Or is there no suitcase? He is dressed in the best clothes that he owns. Or are there no best clothes? The conversation is quiet, short sentences. The man's mind lost somewhere in the business of the moment. Or perhaps there is no conversation, not a word. Or perhaps there are laughs. The man talking and talking, joking to take the edge away. What? Imagination tries to build atop slim facts. The man is 31 years old. That is birth certificate truth. His wife is 28 years old. That is another birth certificate truth. Their first son, the boy, as recorded in the office of the Registrar of Vital Statistics, Baltimore City, by midwife Minnie Graff, is 7 years, 3 months, 7 days old, except he will believe for most of his years that his birthday is 1 year and 1 day earlier. Why is that? The biggest mysteries in the life of George Herman Ruth are front-loaded and frustrating. The topographic representations of most famous lives feature well-defined peaks of public achievement, brightly lit and easily seen. But a fog often settles over the personal life below. The fog here covers everything. Babe? Babe Ruth? Behind that moon face with those small eyes, that flat nose, those big lips that will be captured in any instantly recognizable portrait in a blue New York Yankees cap, the boy will forever hide. He is only a shape, glimpsed here, glimpsed there, lost again. No one has found that boy at the beginning of it all, touched him, gotten to know him. No one ever will. If the right questions ever were asked, the answers never were given. Time has finished the job. There is no one to talk to now. No one is around. He will become the Sultan of Swat, the Bambino, the Big Bam, baseball royalty, the greatest home run hitter of his time or any time, a character as interesting as Einstein, or Edison, or Elvis, or any other 20th century innovator or inventor, but he will never fill in the early blanks.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?